demon time. Caitlin's on demon time, bro. Oh, yes, she is. She's coming for blood. She's coming for blood. I don't know if the Fever is going to win another damn game without Caitlin Clark.
Started the second half, Sophie Cunningham on the bench. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Everyone is saying Stephanie White just got fired, but the real story isn't about her job status yet. It's about the look on Caitlin Clark's face as she stormed out of the arena. That look wasn't just anger, it was a promise. In the next 7 minutes, you are going to learn about the one coaching decision so baffling, so utterly illogical, that it may have sealed the fate of the Indiana Fever's entire season and ignited a fire in Clark that the league is not prepared for. This wasn't just a loss from a fan's perspective, it was a complete and total system failure.
Sophie Cunningham was the only player trying hard. The only player giving effort, play in and play out.
The image is burned into the collective memory of the WNBA world. Caitlin Clark, with a shiner under her eye, marching through the tunnels with an expression that could curdle milk. This was the immediate aftermath of a 95-60 humiliation at the hands of the Phoenix Mercury, the Fever's worst loss of a season already filled with them. But what led to this moment of pure rage? We're going to unpack 3 specific mysteries. Why was the team's only effective player inexplicably benched? How did a former #1 pick become a non-factor in the paint? And what do the hidden numbers of this game reveal that the box score doesn't show?
The storyline of tonight's game, even though we lost, I don't want everybody holding their head down. No, we lost. We had to talk about Sophie Cunningham getting that ball.
By the end of this analysis, you will understand why fans are calling this more than just a bad night at the office. Many viewers interpreted this as a public display of strategic chaos, a performance so disjointed it has people questioning the very foundation of the team's leadership. This goes beyond one game. The fallout from this single night in Phoenix could redefine the power dynamics within the Indiana Fever organization for years to come, especially with their superstar player watching from the sidelines, her patience clearly worn to a thread.
And all other people that has been saying and verbatimly saying that the Indiana Fever is better without Caitlin Clark, I need y'all to look in the mirror and please let me know if you feel that same way after seeing this tonight.
Let's set the stage. The Fever didn't just lose. They made losing an art form. From the opening tip, the energy was non-existent. You could practically see the fight drain from their bodies in the first quarter, as if they had collectively decided this game was a lost cause before the first media timeout. This was not a case of being outmatched by a superior team. This was, in the eyes of many who watched, a complete surrender. Meanwhile, the Phoenix Mercury were putting
We
on a
lost to the
clinic.
Valkyrie earlier in the season, 80-61, and tonight, against the Phoenix Mercury, we lose 95-60.
On the other side of the court, a different story was unfolding. Alyssa Thomas was busy rewriting the WNBA record books, casually dropping her 3rd consecutive triple-double, a feat never before seen in league history. At the same time, Dana Bonner, who the Fever had somehow contained in their previous matchup, was treating Indiana's defense like a practice squad, scoring 23 points with ease. It looked less like a professional basketball game and more like a varsity team scrimmaging against the freshmen.
Tawana Bonner just got done doing your team absolutely dirty. You guys escape with a victory when they come to Indiana, and you wipe your hands of it like it's all over and finished with. No, it goes both ways.
But here is where the story takes a truly bizarre turn, and it centers on one player, Sophie Cunningham, playing in her old home arena, in a game that clearly meant the world to her. Cunningham was the lone warrior for the Fever. She was the only player who came to fight, dropping 18 points on hyper-efficient 6 of 9 shooting, including a blistering 5 of 8 from three-point range. She was jawing with opponents, diving for loose balls, and visibly trying to drag her team back into the game.
Last game, when Sophie Cunningham wasn't getting the ball, guess what happened when they passed Sophie Cunningham the ball? She scored 18 damn points in 26 minutes.
Sophie Cunningham wasn't just scoring. She was the team's emotional heartbeat in Clark's absence. She was the only player shooting over 50% for the entire night. She was the hot hand. She was the entire offense. And in a coaching decision that has left analysts and fans completely bewildered, Stephanie White benched her to start the second half. The team's one functional weapon was holstered for reasons that remain, from the outside looking in, utterly nonsensical. This is the moment that turned a bad loss into a firestorm of criticism.
The most embarrassing loss of the season for the Indiana Fever.
Here's the decision that nobody can defend. To start the third quarter, with the game still theoretically within reach, Sophie Cunningham, the team's leading scorer shooting 62.5% from deep, was on the bench, in her place. Lexi Hull, who on that night was in the midst of a historically cold shooting performance, finishing the game 0 for 8 from behind the arc. You have a player hitting everything and a player hitting nothing, and the coaching staff chose the player hitting nothing.
I mean, it sucks, right? You don't ever want to see anyone be injured on any team. I feel like there's been a lot of injuries this year in the W, harsh ones, I think. And, it's just another one. And Sid is still the heartbeat of our team. She's going to be okay.
This puzzling strategy seemed to have a ripple effect of incompetence across the roster. Aaliyah Boston, the former Rookie of the Year, who should be dominating the paint, was a ghost. She finished the game with a meager 4 points in 26 minutes, shooting a horrific 1 for 6 from the field. These weren't difficult, contested shots. We're talking about baby hooks and layups, shots from within a few feet of the basket where she was physically out-muscled and out-hustled.
I think we faced some adversity with some injuries this game, but you know what? We're used to that. We've had that at the beginning of the year. This is just another hump that we're going to get over, and we're gonna be okay.
Then there's Kelsey Mitchell. While she managed to score 12 points, it came on an incredibly inefficient 4 of 17 shooting. She went 1 for 6 from 3, missed crucial free throws, and turned the ball over 5 times. Her plus-minus for the game was a staggering -39. To be clear, that means the team was outscored by 39 points during her time on the court. It was a performance so disastrous it almost defies belief. Yet she remained on the floor while the team's only reliable scorer sat.
Aaliyah Boston, 4 points in 26 minutes, 1 for 6 from the field. We're talking about baby hooks. We're talking about gimmies with around 3 feet of the basket.
The numbers don't lie, and in this case, they scream incompetence from the top down. As a team, the Fever shot a miserable 34% from the field, and an even worse 23% from 3. But the most damning statistic of all might be their free throw shooting. They shot 53% from the charity stripe. Missing nearly half of your free throws isn't just bad execution. It's what many fans are calling a sign of a team that has mentally checked out. Those are free points, and they left them on the table.
You guys.
Well, I think it affects emotionally because nobody wants to see a teammate go down like that. But also, on the floor, that's another point guard, a primary ball handler, someone who is a big part of our rotation on both ends of the floor. And so
Looking at the numbers objectively, the ball movement was non-existent. The team registered only 12 assists, compared to a whopping 22 turnovers. For every pass that led to a basket, there were nearly 2 that ended up in the hands of the other team. It's impossible to win a basketball game, or even look competitive, with that kind of ratio. It suggests a complete breakdown in offensive structure and communication on the floor.
This game meant just as much to Sophie Cunningham as it did to the Indiana Fever when DeWanna Bonner made her return. The only difference is nobody on the Indiana Fever had Sophie Cunningham's back.
This wasn't some new phenomenon. It felt like a regression to the team's worst habits. Viewers saw no visible offensive adjustments throughout the game. Despite Aaliyah Boston having torched Phoenix in previous encounters, there was no concerted effort to feed her in the post. Instead, the game plan appeared to be a rudderless run-and-gun style, a strategy that makes absolutely no sense without the generational offensive talent of Caitlin Clark to orchestrate it.
You don't care. You literally left your teammate hung out to dry tonight.
What we observed on the court was an attitude problem that transcended individual stats. The lack of urgency, the lazy closeouts on defense, the failure to box out. It all pointed to a team that, for one night, appeared to have no pride in the jersey they were wearing. This is the kind of performance that leads to uncomfortable questions being asked in the front office, because talent alone cannot explain this level of disengagement.
To talk about the hometown hero. Sophie Cunningham, 18 points, 5 assists, shooting 66% from the field.
The most shocking statistic, the one that truly encapsulates the entire disaster, is this. The Fever surrendered 42 points off of their own mistakes. 42 points came directly from turnovers and Phoenix's second chance opportunities. That means nearly half of the Mercury's entire offensive output was directly gifted to them by Indiana's inability to protect the ball or secure a defensive rebound. You could have replaced the Fever's front court with cardboard cutouts and potentially seen a similar result on the boards.
And what, you didn't have your team ready tonight? From a mental standpoint, from a game plan standpoint, does anybody do you guys practice? Do you guys watch film? I don't understand.
Let's return to Sophie Cunningham. After the game, she handled the situation with a level of professionalism that her team's performance did not deserve. She spoke about needing to stack the days and the team getting over the hump of injuries, which is classic athlete speak for "I am not going to say what I really think and get fined." Phoenix fans gave her a warm reception, but based on what we saw, her own team left her out to dry in a game that should have been a triumphant return.
I need somebody to make that make sense for me. 12 assists as a team. 22 total turnovers. 12 assists and 22 turnovers.
The symbolism of this game is impossible to ignore. For weeks, a narrative has been pushed by critics that the Indiana Fever are back to her without Caitlin Clark, implying that they revert to being a lottery team without their star rookie. This 95 number 60 shellacking, this crime scene of a basketball game, served as Exhibit A for everyone who holds that belief. It was a spectacular validation of their harshest critics.
I can't with these losses. I mean, tonight loss was ridiculous, guys. I mean, just downright ignorant. This was a downright ignorant loss.
This brings us back to the coaching masterclass, or lack thereof. The decision to bench Cunningham to start the half was baffling enough, but the questionable choices didn't stop there. In the fourth quarter of a 30-point blowout, Kelsey Mitchell, who was having the worst game of her season, was still on the floor playing significant minutes. Meanwhile, Sophie Cunningham, the only player with any rhythm, remained glued to the bench. From a fan's perspective, the logic is simply not there.
Started the second half, Sophie Cunningham on the bench. It's absolutely ridiculous.
The lack of accountability is palpable. When a team gives up 42 points off of effort plays and turnovers, that falls squarely on preparation and coaching. When your offensive game plan seems to ignore your primary interior threat, that's a coaching issue. And when your star player, even while injured, is seen storming out of the building with a look of utter disgust, you have a problem that runs much deeper than a single loss.
DeWanna Bonner scores over 20 points. Sophie Cunningham making her return to Phoenix, and it seems as if nobody on our team other than Sophie Cunningham felt any type of emotional connection to this game.
This is my interpretation of what happened, based on the publicly available footage and statistics. This was a breaking point. This wasn't just a loss. It was the kind of embarrassing nationally televised meltdown that forces an organization to look in the mirror and ask hard questions. The on-court product was not just bad. It was in the eyes of many disrespectful to the fans who pay to watch.
Sid, who else? Who else was hurt? Sophie was hurt. This looked like June again.
With Caitlin Clark's return on the horizon, the pressure is about to be amplified to an unbearable degree.
The "we're shorthanded" excuse has just expired in the most dramatic fashion possible.
Now the microscope is firmly fixed on Stephanie White and her staff. If this level of preparation and these kinds of puzzling in-game decisions continue, the calls for her job will grow from a fan outcry to a legitimate front office conversation.
Look like the Indiana Fever could be signing another player. Basically, another hardship player could be on the way. Sydney Colson hurt. Argument down to hurt. Now we got to see who's available again at the point guard position. Again.
So while Stephanie White hasn't been officially fired, this was the kind of loss that gets coaches fired. This was a complete institutional failure, from the game plan to the effort on the floor. And as the Fever look ahead, one question looms larger than any other. When Caitlin Clark steps back on that court, will she be returning to a team ready to compete? Or will her silent fury be the new uncomfortable normal for a franchise in turmoil? The next game will tell us everything.